It's the most joyous activity I've ever participated in, and you say that exercise makes you feel better, and then you combine exercise with creativity and movement and the music, and it becomes this becomes more of an exercise in creativity almost than athleticism, and so you get the benefits of both. So it becomes essentially the most satisfying thing I can do.
So we went and I saw folks dancing and doing aerials and the shim sham, and I was absolutely hooked and have been dancing pretty much ever since. So that was back in '98.
I think mainly the fitness part of it, the exercise. I just turned 65, so it's really helped me to stay fit, and not only that, it's just fun. You know, it's something to do to have fun. And most of the time there's no drinking, smoking, or anything like that's going on, so it's good, clean fun.
It is these days. Wasn't back in the 30s in the speakeasies, but me either.
A friend of mine in high school invited me out to a swing dance once, and I didn't know how to dance, but she was really cute, so I said yes.
I think some of my friends, they just came and asked me if I wanted to go, so I did, and it sort of, I went for a little bit, and then I dropped off, and then about a year ago I picked it back up, and I've been doing it fairly consistently. So
there was a Gap commercial called Swing Gap, and they were doing a commercial for khakis, and they were doing a bunch of aerials and things like that, and that was kind of ushered in this swing resurgence. It really had never gone away completely, but it became much more popular during those late 90s, and you had a lot more swing bands and neo swing. A lot of times they would call it neo swing.
I started about 14 years ago. I was playing with Greensboro Big Band, playing trombone, and was getting really tired of putting up with the other musicians' egos and attitudes. And it was right about the time that, you know, this Gap commercial and, you know, the swing dancing was coming back in the late 90s. So I gave up the big band and started learning to dance.
Baby, baby, it looks like it's gonna hail. Baby, baby, it looks like it's gonna hail. You better come inside, let me teach you how to jive and wheel. Oh, you gotta jump and jive and then you really gotta jump and jive and then you really gotta jump and jive and then you will.
Well, in the mid to late 1990s, I started listening to the Squirrel Nut Zippers and sort of started collecting what we call neo swing artists, and also some more traditional jazz and swing bands. And then I saw the Gap khakis swing commercial, and it all came together for me in this magical moment of, I must do this. This is what goes with this music. I can't go another day without learning how to swing dance. So that's how I began.
Well, we knew that part of an ethnography was being immersed in the culture, so we definitely wanted to give it a shot. I mean, we talked to all these people, we knew this is what they love to do, and we're passionate about it, so we had to give it a shot.
Yeah, and literally all we did was just kind of step right in. People asked us, "Oh, do you want to dance?" And that's all we had to do. It wasn't that much of a commitment.
And they were so inviting and welcoming and really just wanted to work with us and make sure we knew all the steps.
Beforehand, when we were setting up the equipment, we literally had to tell people, no, we were not going to dance right this second, but we will dance, we promise. They were that interested in having us dancing and trying it out, even though we were all brand new.
It's definitely a social dance, more so than a lot of the other places. When you go like salsa dancing or other types of dancings, people are not as open to dancing with everyone, but when you go swing dancing, you'll have people there that are 15 and 50, and everyone just kind of dances together, so it's a real chill environment.
I mean, it's really good exercise. You get to come out. It's pretty. I like it because it's low key, and there's not a lot of pretension in swing dancing. You just kind of show up and have a good time, and everybody dances with everybody, and nobody is really averse to dancing with you if you're not the most amazing person ever. So that's always fun. If you look at sports and stuff like that, you need to have a skill, hopefully, or you're probably not going to make it. In swing dancing, it really doesn't matter if you're good or not. You just kind of come, and likely you'll get better if you stick with it. So.
Do I find it as a good way to pick up girls? I am under oath. Yeah, actually it does. I'm not gonna lie, gentlemen, women like guys that can dance, for sure. So you definitely do meet a lot of women. Yeah, I say a lot, like 3 a year, but that can be high.
I mean, that's better than 0 a
yeah.
year.
Is there like a dress code you think people tend to follow?
No. I would love for there to be a dress code. I would personally love for everyone to treat dances like the special events I feel that they are. At least, maybe not the weekly dances, but when we have a band, I feel like that's a special occasion. But you'll see everything from, people in shorts with socks and dance shoes, which is just... And then you'll see, I think the norm, though, is T-shirt and jeans. I think we're a T-shirt and jeans society, and regardless of what you're wearing, no one's going to, refuse to dance with you. Right. So, and then you'll see other people tend to dress up. The most dressed up I've ever seen someone, it was like on a New Year's Eve dance, and people will wear tuxedos or, a nicer, almost cocktail dress to dance in.
If you're really a student of swing dance and studying, you tend to get really involved in the whole time period, and it just kind of escalates. It just kind of grows on you. Swing dance clothing needs to have movement, and then oftentimes they'll go to events where maybe they're doing photography and the garments can be tighter, because the swing dance really started in the 40s when garments were more streamlined. The skirts were closer to the body because fabric was rationed during the war. I think they love vintage clothing because people can buy a piece that is not going to be found anywhere else. And I see a lot of the young people particularly looking for a way to make themselves unique. When I went to one of their dances, I was most impressed by the enthusiasm and the energy and the age range, from teenagers to 60-year-olds who were dancing and having fun and dancing with each other and mixing with each other. And we had a dance in our shop, and we had probably 40 members show up, and they danced probably 3 hours non-stop pretty much.
But it's not a really hard definitive line between, 1921 looks very different, and then 1929 comes, and then 1930 is completely different. You really see kind of this melding and overlap between the eras. But the wartime era, particularly World War II, I just really kind of get fascinated with the shoes and the clothes and things like that. And that's the silhouette that I am particularly fond of.
Recently. So this is kind of something I would wear performing and not dancing because it's also sequiny. But this is kind of a quintessential early 40s dress with sequin appliques, and it's actually 3D here, which I think is pretty rad. Like someone quilted that. That's crazy. The level of craftsmanship you see in these clothing is just unparalleled.
Go ahead, Bob.
You go right ahead.
Well, this is a 50s dress, and the shoes are reproduction 1940 shoes. And I did not have time to do my hair into a 40s look, but that's what I like to do. And the flower, Katie kind of put this idea in our heads at the swing dance, is to put flowers in our heads. So that's mine. And Bob's really, he has lots of blue suits.
This one is basically a 30s era, double-breasted, gangster, what you would, gangster style zoot suit. It's a reproduction. And there was so much more style back then.
We had a sock hop a couple months ago, and I didn't dress up nearly as much, but just dressed up like characters from the movie Grease, so that was fun.
And then we have what my vintage collecting friend Heidi in New York calls the Holy Grail, which are the two-tone brown and white Oxfords, which are pretty fabulous. That they came in my size, and I would dance in these all night.
I mostly will dress up for the swing dances, mostly just to encourage people to have fun and get involved. And when you're dressed up, you just feel like you're having more fun, and other people also get into it more. The guys enjoy it because they're like, oh, that's really cool. And the girls also enjoy it because it's fun to kind of, look that retro style, and you're having an opportunity to dress up. We're really just a bunch of big kids, really.
People pick up golf and tennis because it's a lifelong sport. I mean, I decided a long time ago that this was a good place for me, and that I would be able to do this for a really long time. My grandmother swing danced, and I see her, and I've led her in dancing, and so she's 86 now, and she could totally do a swing out if I let her. And so I saw that, and I'm like, yeah.
One of the couples that we met at Green Supper Club, this kind of gives you an idea of the caliber of people that you meet. The woman was totally blind, and they were probably in their 70s, I guess.
Upper 70s, maybe early 80s.
But she loved to dance. I mean, she just absolutely loved it. And her husband would take her on the dance floor, and she followed him all over that floor. She couldn't see anything, but she loved to dance. And, people like that are an inspiration to people that love to dance, too. Just no matter how old you are, no matter what kind of shape you are, if you hurt your back, you hurt whatever, you keep going.
You just have these ideal bands and this ideal location and this ideal situation, and it was the Jonathan Stout's clarinet player, who tended to be a skeptic of dancers, blogged about it later and said essentially this is what it must have been like in the swing era with Artie Shaw and Benny Goodman, just masses of people like pulsating and dancing, like just a sea of bodies. And to be a part of that and to feel that much energy from the floor and from the stage was just the most uplifting experience ever.
L is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary. E is even more than anyone that you adore, and love is all that I can give to you. Love is more than just a game for two.